Hey everybody, thanks for being here. It's Gideon with StandOut Creative Studio, and today I'll be showing you how to combine two images in Photoshop, and then later on I'll show you how to blend those images together. So let's jump in.
Okay, so if I want, and if you want the couch, or whatever your object is into this other photo first on your toolbar, which is, you see all these tools on the left-hand side, you always want to make sure you are on the move tool before or, right after you do an action in Photoshop. So I'm on the move tool. It's the top tool. I come over here to my first image. I'm just going to click, hold, and drag that into the other image. It's on top of the other image right now. That's why we can't see the background image. And now we need to see a blue bounding box around the image in order to make it smaller. So how I'm going to do that is, on my keyboard, I'm hitting Control and the minus sign to make this smaller. I'm then going to pull out on this bottom corner, and lo and behold, there is the blue bounding box. And I just click, hold, and drag on one of the corners of the box to make this couch smaller. When I like the size, I can just tap Enter on my keyboard. And then I'm going to be holding Control and the plus sign to enlarge this for you. Okay, first thing is, it doesn't look good, one, because there's a white background. There's a few ways to get rid of the white background. One of the easiest and quickest ways is if you come down, about the fourth tool, you will see the magic wand tool. If you do not see the magic wand tool, you're going to hold down, click and hold on the fourth tool, and you will see a subset of tools. And then you should see the magic wand tool. So I'm going to click that. Hover over my image in the white space, click once, and you'll see this dotted line appear. I call these the marching ants. So we want to see marching ants whenever we see a selection. And then I'm just going to hit backspace on the keyboard, and that will go away. That deletes it. Right here, I got a selection that I do not want. I don't want to select all that. So to deselect, it's always Control key and D on the keyboard. So let's say we are good with this. Like I said at the beginning, you always go back to your move tool. So right now, I'm not going to do anything unless I go back to the top of the toolbar and click on the move tool. Now I can move this couch around. I want to resize it, so we have this blue bounding box. If you do not see the blue bounding box, you need to come up here to the top left. Right here, I'm circling it with the mouse. It says Show Transform Controls. That box needs to be checked, and you'll get the blue bounding box. So I'm going to make this couch smaller by dragging on a handle, positioning it, and then hitting Enter on the keyboard. And there we have one way to combine an object or an image with another image. Let's say we want to blend it, right? Maybe we don't want to combine, but we do want to blend. There's something in Photoshop called feathering. I love feathering. And so the first step is we have to be on the layer that we want to feather. We're going to go over to our toolbar. It's the second tool. You should see a rectangular marquee tool. If you don't see that, click and hold, and you'll get a subset of tools, and there it is. Okay, so like the second step to blend or feather in Photoshop is I have to make the selection where I want the feather to happen. So let's say I want the blending or the feathering to happen toward the top of the couch. So I'm going to drag out, click, hold, and drag a box or a rectangle with the marching ants. And there we go. That's step 2. Step 3 is to hold Shift and F6 on your keyboard And here is the feather selection dialog box. This number is really important. This tells Photoshop how much do you want to blend it or feather it. So the first time you do this, a lot of times you will not know what number to put in here. Let's just try 50 and hit enter. The next thing you'll notice, and this kind of tells you that you're on the right track, is that your box, the marching ants, the edges are curved now. So that tells us we're on the right track. We did something right? It applied the feather to our selection area. And then the last step, basically, in feathering or blending, I can move this up if I want. Last step is just to hit backspace as many times as you want to achieve the blending. So here we go, hitting backspace, Control D to deselect. And maybe that's what I want, right? Maybe I want the sand to kind of fade in, right, or feather. Maybe I want to do that to the rest, the other three edges of the couch. So, again, we need to make a selection. Another tool I can use is, if I come down here, third tool, I'm going to look for the polygonal lasso tool. This allows me a little bit more freedom when I'm making my selection, so I don't have to just use that marquee tool and drag out a box or a rectangle. I can actually click, 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 click. Now, because I'm doing the edges and I don't want to do like the couch area, I'm not going to come over and finish off this selection. I want the edge, so I'm actually going to go to the right and click, come down and click, click, click. Hover over my starting point and click one more time, and that'll finish the selection. And there we go. You know, we are selecting the edge just like we did the previous time, just in a slightly different manner. The next step to the feather is Shift F6 on the keyboard, and there's our 50 value for the feather. Let's say I want that, I want the feather a little bit more softer. I'm going to put in 90 this time and hit enter. I can tell that warped the selection a lot, and I don't like that. So I'm going to hit Control Z to undo. Shift F6 again. 90 is too much. I could tell that because it warped that selection area. I'm going to put in 50 again and hit enter. That looks better. The edges are round. They're not as warped, so I think this is going to work. So I'm just going to hit backspace on the keyboard a few times. There we go. I can't see the hard edge of the white. It looks like it's blending really well, and maybe that's what I want. So the next step, you always hit Control D to deselect, and there we go. Right now I'm on the lasso tool. Always, like I said, always go back to the move tool. I see my bounding box. I want this a little smaller. Maybe I want to set it on the sand right here and then hit enter to confirm that. I don't want to, maybe if you don't want to see that blue bounding box, again, come up to the top of your screen in the options bar. It says show transform controls. I'm just going to click that, uncheck it, and there we go. You know, you can really hone in these edges and really kind of mess with the feathering dialog box and kind of dial in the numbers you're using and the placement of your selection. So if I didn't want the feathering to be this close to the bottom of the couch, when I'm making this box, I don't have to leave it right here and hit backspace. I can stay on this tool and pull this box down. So when I do feather, look at this. It doesn't cut into the couch as much. So, when I'm doing it, I'm going, we're going fairly quickly to get through the video for you. But when you're doing this, on a real project or whatever it is you're doing, you don't want to come in here and start deleting that couch. That doesn't look good. So back out of that, move the selection down further maybe, hit backspace, see what that looks like, move it over here, hit backspace, do this. Maybe that selection was horrible, use your polygonal lasso tool and really kind of refine what this selection looks like. If you double click when you're using that tool, it'll automatically finish that selection. So maybe you need to do all that and really practice this on different projects and hone in your feathering skills. Hope you guys learned something today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did get value out of this, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Click like for me. I'm Gideon with StandOut Creative Studio. Thank you.